I want to tell you something that I said to my daughters that most parents would never say out loud. I told them, you are going to be wealthy. Not you can be anything you want, because that's just something adults say when they don't actually believe it because they haven't actually become what they wanted. I mean, I looked them in the eye and told them they were going to be wealthy. And I told them that wealth is normal and that wanting more is not selfish, it's smart. And that ceiling that most people bump into with their income, that's not their ceiling. And I did this on purpose because I learned after years of struggling, not being able to pay my own bills, and then studying manifestation, that the words that you say are spells. They're spells that you cast on yourself. They're spells that you're casting on your life. So telling your children something positive, something that they can accomplish, something that they can adopt as their truth, that is so powerful. The women who stay broke are not less talented than the women who get wealthy. They are not less deserving and they are not less hardworking. They just had a different voice in their ear when they were young, and that voice became their ceiling. And I refuse to install that ceiling inside my girls. But here's the thing. What I taught my daughters applies to every single person watching this video right now. It applies to the 19-year-old beauty school student who's about to choose her career path that will either align or silently destroy her confidence for the years to come. It applies to the woman in her 30s who's working incredibly hard and keeps hitting that same ceiling. It applies to everyone who has known they were meant for more, but can't figure out why they can't get there. So today I want to give you what I gave my daughters. And then I want to take it even further because there is a framework that most people never learn until they've spent years doing it wrong. And I want to hand that to you right now. Let me tell you really quick who I am and why I'm qualified to teach this. I was a teen mom twice. I got pregnant at 16 and again at 19. I didn't want to be another statistic, so I decided I was going to go to med school. While taking my prereqs for med school, I went and did an orientation at UW to see what that would look like moving forward. And they told me, you won't see your kids for 10 years if you do this program. So I'm sitting in my hairstylist chair and I'm thinking, what the heck am I going to do? I've wasted all these years trying to figure this out. I don't want to be a statistic. I have to make money. I have to create a life for my daughters that lets them be the people they came here to be. And while I'm sitting in my hairstylist chair, I all of a sudden realize he is dressed from head to toe in designer clothes. I know he drives a Porsche. I know his wife has a Jaguar. I know they have a new house on Lake Tabs. I know the wife is a stay-at-home mom. And I know their kids go to private school. And here he is, enjoying what he does, doing hair, making people feel beautiful after only a year of school, not 10 years. And I was like, if I go to beauty school, will you teach me how to be you? He said yes. So I worked for him for a year to learn more advanced skills in the hair industry. While raising my two daughters, I opened my own salon in 2008. And if you remember history, 2008 was one of the worst financial crises of our time. And people thought I was insane. But I was 25. Ignorance was bliss. And I was ready to create a life of my dreams. I was ready to have more control over my financial future. And here's what made that possible. It wasn't just hustle. It wasn't just talent. It was understanding something that most people never understand. It's adopting an identity, knowing that you are a person who is going to create wealth, knowing you are a person who is going to be successful. It was understanding something about identity and alignment that most people spend their entire careers never learning. And it's the same thing I tried to pass on to my daughters as soon as I was able to learn it. I'm going to give you 10 things I told them, and then I'm going to show you how to actually apply it to your life. Whether you're choosing a career right now or you've been in one for a long time and something still feels off. These are not affirmations from Pinterest. These are things I said out loud over and over again. You can have anything you want. You just have to become the person who already has it. And this one is everything because most people think the goal is to get the house, the money, the relationship, the career, the thing. But the getting is actually the last step. The first step is becoming. Your outer reality will always mirror your inner reality. So if you want a different life, you have to become a different person first before the evidence shows up. That's the faith. Number 2 is stop wishing for it. Decide it's yours and act like it. Wishing keeps the thing in the distance. It says, I want it, but I'm not sure I can have it. I'm hoping. But deciding, that collapses the gap. Once you've decided, you've cut off all other options, and that is yours to have. And when you decide something is yours, your brain starts working completely differently. It starts scanning for evidence that it's possible, and it starts noticing opportunities, and then it starts making different choices automatically. Wishing is passive. Deciding, that's an identity shift. Number 3 is being rich is not a dream. It's a decision. Make the decision. And I want to sit with this one for a second because I think it's the one people resist the most. We've been conditioned to treat wealth like a lottery. It's something that just happens for lucky people, talented people who were born into the right circumstances. But every wealthy person I have ever studied, coached, or learned from at some point made a decision. Not a wish, a decision that said, I am cutting off every other option and this is what my life is going to look like. And that decision is available to every single person watching this video, just like it was for my daughters. Number 4 is the life that you want already exists. Your only job is to grow into it. This is one of the most powerful reframes I know. The version of your life where you have the finances, the career, the relationship, the freedom, the impact. This version already exists. It's not a fantasy. It's a real potential reality that's waiting for you to just become a person that can hold it. Your job isn't to create it from scratch. It's to be able to hold it, to grow into it. Number 5 is normal is whatever you decide normal is. So make it big. This is why I expose my daughters to nice things, nice experiences, and any kind of luxury I could, as much as I could. Not to spoil them, to calibrate them. Because your nervous system defines normal based on what you've been repeatedly exposed to. If you grew up around scarcity, scarcity feels normal. If you grew up in abundance, abundance feels normal. But if it's the scarcity scenario, abundance feels dangerous. But when you can see abundance, when you grow up in abundance, it feels normal and you stop treating it like something that only happens for lucky people. And you can recalibrate this at any age by exposing yourself to more luxurious things, to different experiences that represent a different level of life. This is why whenever I buy gifts for my employees, I buy Coach bags or Tiffany's or Louis Vuitton, because these are material things that represent a higher level of income, a higher level of living. And when those things are normal for you, it's easier to grow into the next level of you. It's easier to become that person. So being exposed to luxuries and experiences that are good creates this inside of us. It recalibrates our system. Number 6 that I told my daughters, you were not born to struggle. You were born to have everything you desire. It's part of your birthright. I said this one because I needed my daughters to know that struggle is not a virtue. Our culture glorifies struggle and suffering as proof of worthiness. If it didn't cost you something, it doesn't count. That belief keeps people broke and exhausted. Desire is not greed, and wanting beautiful things is not selfish. It is your birthright, and it is also the fuel that drives you to create something worth having. Number 7, every time you tell the universe you can't afford something, you're asking the universe to agree with you. Stop saying that. Words are not just words. The things that you say about money are a direct instruction to your subconscious about your relationship with it. When you say, I can't afford that, your brain immediately stops looking for ways to afford it and starts looking for proof that you can't afford it. What you focus on, you will experience. What you focus on, you will see. If you buy a new car, let's say you buy a white BMW, you will start to see white BMWs everywhere because what you focus on, you see more of. If you see lack, you will see more lack. You will see proof of lack. If you see opportunity, you will find proof of opportunity. And the replacement is not pretending to have money you don't have. It's shifting it to, I'm currently creating money to have that. Or that's just not a priority right now. That's a completely different energy. Then you can't afford it. The number 8 is the version of you who has it all is not someday. She's right now waiting for you to claim it, to show up as her. Your future self is not a fantasy. She's a real version of you that exists in potential right now. And she's waiting for you to start making decisions from her perspective instead of your current one. If you're identifying in lack, you will make decisions in lack. If you're identifying as the abundant version of yourself, you'll make decisions from abundance. So what would that version of you wear? How would she talk about the work that she does? What would she say yes to? What would she refuse to tolerate? Start there. The external evidence will follow once the internal shift happens. Number 9 is you don't wait until you're ready. You become her first, and then the evidence follows. Ready is a feeling that never arrives. There will always be a reason to wait. More experience, more followers, more money, a better relationship, another certificate, more certainty, more proof. The women who have built extraordinary lives are not the ones who waited to be ready. They're the ones who made decisions based on the identity that they were becoming, and therefore they acted before the evidence was there. And that's what true faith is. And that's how your life changes. That's how you create all of this. Number 10 is I raised you to want more, expect more, and receive more. That is not selfish. That is your birthright. And that last one I say to every single woman that I coach now, because most of them didn't have someone to tell them this when they were younger. And it changes something inside of a person when they finally hear it. So if nobody has told you this before, I am telling you now, it is okay to want more. You are supposed to want more. Wanting more is not a character flaw. It is the princess gene, and it is inside of you, whether you've activated it yet or not. So now that you have my magic phrases, use these. Say them to yourself daily. Reprogram this as your new truth inside of your subconscious. This will change your external life. Your proof comes when you change within. So this is a 4-step process that I use with the clients that I coach to help them to create the life of their dreams. So the first one is desire. You have to get radically clear on what you actually want. Not what seems realistic and not what your family thinks you should want. Not what your peers are choosing. What do you want your life to look like 5 years from now? What does your income look like? Your schedule, your space, your relationship, your body, your mornings. Most people never let themselves answer that question honestly. They edit themselves before they even begin. And because they never get clear on what it is that they actually want, they spend years just drifting towards whatever is easy and not what's actually meant for them. Desire is not greed. It is data. It is your internal compass pointing towards the person you're becoming. And gratitude without desire is just a resignation with a better attitude. Step 2 is thought. What you believe about what is actually possible for you determines everything. And not just your conscious thoughts, your deep, habitual background beliefs that were installed inside of you before you were even 8 years old. Created by watching adults around you navigate money, success, and happiness. And those beliefs are running your financial life right now, even if you're not aware of it. If you believe people in your industry don't make money, you won't make money. If you believe building a following or a clientele is hard, it will be. Your thoughts are not neutral observations. Remember, they are direct instructions to your subconscious about what to create. Let's talk about the 80-20 rule. So people freak out when I talk about making your thoughts good, because we have so many thoughts in a day that there's absolutely no way we can control all of them. So what we want to do is the 80-20 rule. So if we can make sure that 80% of the time that we're in a positive, optimistic, joyful, or just better state, and that we only drop down 20% of the time, this will create movement. This will create the start of the life that we're trying to create. So your thoughts don't have to be perfect. You just have to get better at shifting them faster. So better at recognizing when they've fallen. One activity that I have some of my coaching clients do is set an alarm every hour during the day. And every time it goes off, they just think for a second, like, where am I at right now? Just sitting here. Am I happy? Am I mad? Am I overwhelmed? How am I feeling? That's your check-in point. And if it's not good, how do you shift it? You can also have an SOS sheet that's like things that take me back to a good place instantly. So it could be putting your feet in the grass. It could be taking a walk. It could be closing your eyes and just taking some deep breaths. Anything that you can do quickly and easily to pull yourself back into a positive state so you can spend 80% of your time in the positive thought is perfect. So step 3 is identity, and this is the one that changes everything. Identity is a thermostat, and you will always act in accordance to the way that you feel about yourself, the way you identify yourself. That level of knowing of who you are it'll always come back to the surface. It'll always come back to normal, because that's your baseline. So how you identify, how you pull those positive thoughts or those positive things that you're saying into your body and make it part of your identity, that's what changes everything. You have to feel it inside of you. You have to know that's who you are. This is why people win the lottery and then lose all their money. It's why people lose weight and gain it all back, because their external situation changed, but the internal one didn't, and identity always wins. So the work is not just change your behavior, it's change who you're being to become the version of you who holds the income, the freedom, the relationship, the business, the life that you want before the evidence shows up. You have to become her. You have to start making decisions from that identity now, to raise your standards now, to stop tolerating things that the future version of you would never tolerate now. This is what I call activating the princess gene, and it is the part of you that knows exactly what she wants and refuses to settle for less. And she holds a standard for her life that other people might see as demanding. That's not a flaw. That's a version of you who's going to build something real, something worth wanting, something worth going for. And then our last step 4, it's inspired action. And I really want to be clear about what inspired action is not. It's not grinding from a place of anxiety. It's not doing everything at once because you're scared nothing will work. Inspired action is the move that comes from being in a calm, clear place. It's the post you feel genuinely drawn to create, or the person you feel a pull to reach out to. It's the offer you feel excited about making, not obligated to make. When action comes from alignment, it works in a completely different way than when it comes from anxiety or fear or desperation. Intuition never leads with fear. It always leads with expansion. So if a nudge feels exciting, even if it's a little scary, that's your sign. Act on it quickly. The gap between inspiration and manifestation closes quickly when you don't overthink the action. And so here's the truth I want you to leave with. The version of you who has everything that you want, the freedom, the income, the impact, the life, she already exists. She is not a fantasy. She is a real potential version of you who is just waiting for you to decide that she is who you are. Not someday, now. You don't have to have proof yet. In fact, you won't. You just have to start making decisions from her identity, her perspective. Start carrying yourself the way she would. Start talking about your work the way she would. Start saying no to the things she would never accept and yes to the things that would light her up. That's how you become someone who can hold millions of dollars. And that's how you build a career that actually fits you. And that's how you create a life that your future children will look at and say, I'm going to learn that from her. If you want to go deeper on this and figure out what financial roadblocks are stopping you from your desires, go to my Instagram and go look at my money block quiz. Click on it. It's going to take you only a few minutes and it's going to tell you where you're blocked and where we should start working. And if you are serious about becoming her now and you're sick of everything that hasn't worked in the past, you feel like you've tried, you feel stuck, and you're ready to go all in, check out Legacy League, because this is where women change their lives. This is where they become her now. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now, and they start to see true change in their life immediately. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.